Understand something. Plain and simple. To me, Abigail was a delicious poison. An intoxicating, overwhelming poison. Yowie wowie! That felt good! Yowie wowie. Let me in.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Abby's Window, and glad to see everyone here tonight. Of course, we can't have Abby's Window without Abby. So, Jodie, what's up? How are you?
Good. It's been a long day.
Yes, it has, and not ending anytime soon. But that's a story for another day. I want to get right to it because you got some new things that you want to talk about and roll out there and talk about your weekend and all that good stuff. So I don't want to belabor that or keep everyone waiting. I know that's been teased out there on social media. So let me welcome in some folks real quick, and and then we'll get into everything on your end. So Chad Schrader, KJ Carter, Seven Fiend, James Grant, Jason Peace, Cheese Whiz 2, KLW, James Chadwick, Logan, Dalton Riley. Let's see here. Big Dan, Deanna, Alicia P, Shane Loki. Oh, it's all good, KLW. It's all good. I think Chris, right? Christopher LaVenture.
You're here today.
You're
which
here.
is super important.
You're here. So it's all good. Jesse Callen, what's up, Jesse? So Jody, you got something that you want to roll out there, and I'm gonna shut up because people didn't come here to hear me talk. Um, so tell me what's on your going on in Jody's world.
Well, Jody had a life-altering experience over the weekend. So I went to a concert in Fort Wayne on Friday, and it was a wonderful experience. Caleb Johnson was singing with Meatloaf's band, and it's called the Bat Experience. And it's actually, I think it is the only tour that Meatloaf himself endorsed, because obviously, he and Caleb knew each other. And, Caleb is just one of those incredibly dynamic performers that he can pretty much sing anything. But in that particular role where he's singing Meatloaf songs, it's just, like I said, it's a life-altering experience. And I started doing some research because obviously I didn't know who Caleb was until December of last year. Because my husband took me to see Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and Caleb was one of the singers. So that was how I found him. And funnily enough, the first time I heard him sing, I was in the middle of a career change and didn't quite know which word to go. And on Friday, when I went to see him in concert, I was in exactly the same position in the middle of a career change and not really sure where to go. So anyway, long story short, nobody really does anything like this for Caleb. He's not, he doesn't have that 1.5 million followers on Twitter that Windham does. And, it's high time that somebody brings some attention to how wonderful he is. So I wanted to add a little beginning of every show just to call it Caleb's Corner. There's my two favorite guys. So I wanted to put my two favorite gentlemen in the same show, and just talk a little bit about what he's up to and where he's on tour right now. So obviously they're taking like breaks in between, And so his next tour, he's going to be in Maryland and New York and Massachusetts. Then he's taking a break and then coming back for a little while. He's going to be at a summer camp music festival in May. And this is all with the Bat Experience tour, except for June 18th, where he is going to be with his band called Caleb Johnson and the Ramblin' Saints in Black Mountain, North Carolina. He is from Asheville, North Carolina. I will be going to that show in Black Mountain, North Carolina. It's going to be a blast. It will be the first time that I've seen Caleb on his own with his band, as opposed to seeing him with TSO or Meatloaf's band. I will also be going to the show in Marietta, Ohio on June 11th. I met a wonderful person at the concert on Friday who was actually longtime friends with Meatloaf, and they are doing a VIP meet and greet experience at the one in Ohio, and she's from Indianapolis, where I'm from as well, and she basically just said, we're going, let's go. And she said, I'm gonna put you in front of that guy, and you're going to be able to say thank you to him to his face in person instead of writing it in a letter and giving it to him. So I know not a lot of people are familiar with Caleb Johnson. So I put together a little video, kind of like a crash course into how wonderful he is and what a dynamic range this man has.
Here we go. Here's the video.
Do anything for love. I never lied like you, and that's a fact. You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey. Baby, lock them doors and turn the lights down low. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Ain't no cure for the dead man walking blues. 1 foot tapping, one in the grave. I'm gonna sing the song till my dying day. The sky will break, but I'm holding on. The earth will shake, but I'm holding on. The ship will sink, but I'm holding on. It's late in the evening and my fever's getting high. You know I got a sweet tooth that can last all night. You got the power, 'cause your love is so divine. Say hello to heaven, heaven, heaven. Gonna grab him by the tail like a whip in my hand. Burn my ship out at the shore. Yeah, I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my horse to the old town road. I'm gonna ride till I can't no more. I got the horses in the back. You gave me grace when I was blind. Now I see the light. If you want blood, you got it. Blood on the streets, blood on the rocks, blood in the gutters. Every last drop you want blood. There's a man in the shadows with a gun in his eye and a blade shining oh so bright. There's evil in the air and there's thunder in the sky and a killer's on the bloodshot streets.
So there you go. You've been exposed. You've been enlightened to the wonderful voice of Caleb Johnson. Dana, funny you should mention that because he actually did win American Idol in season 13. A little bit of a backstory, which I didn't know because I stopped watching American Idol after David Cook won because I really didn't think it could get better than that. And I was wrong. And, you know, he's very underrated. Deanna, you're absolutely right. He's one of those performers that, besides the fact that he's ridiculously handsome, we're going to leave that part out. But he is one of those performers that once he starts singing, you can't take your eyes off of him. It doesn't matter what else is going on stage. He's the one you're watching because he's just intoxicating in a good way. Like you just can't take your eyes off of him. So if he is anywhere nearby where you are going, where you live, or you're going to be, 100% worth it. Go and find this guy in concert. Go see him live, because I mean, he also has a YouTube. So go check out Caleb Johnson's YouTube. He also has a website that you can go. He's got merch. He's got autographed CDs on there, and it is calebjohnsonofficial.com. I've gotten a lot of merch from him. I've gotten autographed merch from him. Like I said, he's fantastic. Go find his YouTube channel, go listen to his music. And then if he's anywhere near you, go see him live, because he's fantastic. So there you go. You've been enlightened. That's concludes today's episode of Caleb's Corner. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk.
There you go. There you go. Did you show what you got?
Oh, he gave me a drumstick. So when I went to this show on Friday, he was handing out a couple of drumsticks, and I got the second drumstick, which I did tag him in a picture of on Twitter, on my Twitter page. If you want to go look at it, he did retweet it, which was awesome. I did also find some very nice person who offered to give him this very long letter that I had written to him. Don't know if he actually got it. They said they give it to him, but that's where that ended. So
awesome stuff.
If you ever happen to watch this particular episode, Caleb, thank you for being exactly who you are. You're very special, and don't change.
There you go. There you go. Well, obviously, we saw another picture. Alicia P saying she got a fake Caleb account asking to follow her.
So Caleb does have a Twitter. He has an Instagram, and he has like an artist page on Facebook. Both his Instagram and his Twitter do have a blue check mark. So if you don't see one of those next to his name on Instagram and Twitter, please report them, because that's not Caleb.
Well, the other guy,
I also believe that Caleb is a wrestling fan too. So
yeah. The other guy that was in that photo, we're going to talk about him next, because
he's my number one. He always will be.
Well, let's go ahead and do this, because this is like a weekly thing now. So if you don't know this by now, you probably haven't been watching this. But we will be well, let me back up. Windham will be in Albany, New York, for the Showcase of Legends. And it's a big signing meet and greet event that's going to be great. A lot of members of the Insiders family will be there. Jodie, Joe, myself, Brittany. Who else am I missing here? I know I'm missing a bunch of Nicole, Sean.
Tim's going to be there. Pretty much almost every major Bray fan that I know is going to be at this event. Pretty much every person that he knows personally that's a Windham fan is going to be at this event. I don't think he quite understands that there's like a dozen of us that he's met before that he knows.
So yeah, so he's going to be there. We're going to be there. It's going to be great. Pictures will be posted. Please believe that. I'm still working on some things. Still working on a few things, trying to get some access, but if we can't, we'll go live at some point, either before and I
fully intend to ask him when I finally get to see him again, after I get my big bear hug, when you coming on the show?
There you go.
I'm gonna put him on the spot. Like, look, I know you know about the show because you don't live under a rock. But when you coming on the show?
Put him on the spot. Ask him, for sure. Jesse saying totally in the third trimester yet. Still entered the contest to try to win tickets to that.
He's one of those that's worth it too. Like he's such a nice guy. Like you really don't see that out of a lot of like big celebrities, that they're just really down to earth, really nice people, you know, and he just is one of those people. He's just really, really nice.
Yeah. Well, we got some news. We got some news about him, and got to shout out Jason Baker, who was on the show, who was on this channel a while back, and Jason was on another podcast recently, and he was, asked a variety of questions. He was interviewed, and one of the things that he brought up, and we'll start here first. We'll start with the film first.
Mhm.
So Jason says, and this is the most up-to-date information that we have. But here goes. It's happening. It's going. We did some stuff in November in Tennessee, and we're working on some more stuff. It's coming along. Hopefully, people like it once we get it all put together. I had such a blast working with him, meaning Bray Windham, and directing him when we did the original first 8 Firefly Funhouse segments. We just clicked and became really good friends. He's an amazing collaborator and one of the smartest people I know. Why wouldn't I want to work with him? We have some other really good people involved. It should be fun once we finally get to put boots to the ground, which is always the hardest part, getting all of your ducks in a row, which we're working on and going from there. So this is the first bit of news that we've gotten about the film, beyond the fact that we know that there's a film coming. So what were your takeaways from Jason's quote? Because it is, I mean, it's newsworthy. He's saying stuff about the man, and we get some updates potentially on the movie. So what did you think?
I mean, he's right. Who wouldn't want to work with Bray? I mean, or Wyndham. That's still really weird for me to call him Wyndham. I'm sure I'll get used to it, but it's going to take me a while. But I mean, look, if you go back and look at any of those first 8 episodes that they did together, you know how amazing that dynamic is between the two of them. They're just so great together. Obviously, we know that, Jason worked with Tom Savini, who's a legend in the horror era, and anytime you put that much talent together, it's just going to be so good. I was trying to find another word for that, but you just can't. It's just going to be explosive. It's going to be awesome. Work with them working in Tennessee, which we kind of maybe already got a hint to before, that they were going to be filming in Tennessee. You kind of, either it's going to be, you think it's either somewhere in Nashville, because Nashville's that big hub for music and things like that. So, but you also know that Tennessee has a lot of, beautiful landscape and trees and woods and mountains. And so, I'm really, really, really excited. You know that Wyndham's very secretive about all this stuff. He hasn't said anything besides to quote unquote take his name off that shit. That's really the only thing we've heard from Wyndham since all of this happened. So I'm sure it's something that both of them are really, really proud of. I'm sure they can't wait to get it out and have all of us see it. I'm hoping that maybe at this meet and greet, he might give us a little something, to feed us baby birds and hold on to something a little bit. We're getting a little hungry.
There you go. There you go. We can always eat a little bit. Always eat a little something. Thank you, Jesse and James too. I thought what was interesting is, he's talking about everything being in motion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing, that if you haven't followed a lot of films or how they're made or anything like that, a lot of people think that people just go make a film in like 2-3 weeks and then that's it. No. It takes months and months of filming and editing, and then you have to find, you know, the right production companies, and you have to get your marketing out there and all these different things.
Yeah, filming it is not the only piece of the puzzle there.
No, and then on top of that, you have reshoots and you have, you know, all kinds of different things. So
Voiceovers and
exactly. And then if you have any kind of special effects, you have to put those in post production. So
which Jason is awesome at as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so you know, and if people wonder how I know so much about movies, well, it's just the other thing that I do a lot of, other than wrestling, movies. Actually working on some stuff right now personally, but um, having talked to people that have been in the industry, these are the kinds of things I've wanted to learn about because I want to make movies one day. That's what I really want to do one
and
day.
you'd be awesome at it.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. We will see. All I know is going to be a horror movie, and it's going to blow people's minds. So,
Movies, did you see what Jed just posted, who was the creator of the Host movies?
no,
Apparently they are making a Beetlejuice 2. And they have signed Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder to reprise their roles in Beetlejuice 2.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he posted that and said, "This makes me unbelievably happy." And I commented and said, "Fuck yeah."
That's awesome. Deanna, there actually is a horror wrestling movie out there. I'll have to find it and DM you and tell you what the name of it is. I forget the name of it, but I know it exists and it is violent and it's brutal. So I'll have to send you that. Okay, so then we got another bit of news. Let me get to this first though. What if Jason and Wyndham went into business together and bought or created their own TV company channel?
I mean, put Jason and Wyndham and Adam and EC3 all together and just blow that up. Yeah.
Just go create.
Because we know how creative Wyndham is. So anything that he puts his mind to, that he anything that that man puts his mind to is going to be amazing. So
yeah, I mean, you put those guys together, it's gonna be money. So just let them create.
Yep.
Then we got another bit of news, another part of Jason's interview here, and this was on wanting Wyndham back in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what he said. It's all above my pay grade. Again, I have an amazing relationship with Bray and amazing relationship with WWE. They have been amazing to us. Of course, I wish he was still there. It was some of the funnest things I ever got to do. Professionally and personally, was involved with him in WWE. Again, circumstances that I was not a part of and don't know exactly what went down. It's just sort of how it goes. Would I like to see him back there? Of course. Is he going to be? I have no idea. Even if he was, I wouldn't want to know because I want to be surprised just like everyone else. If he does come back, I hope he doesn't tell me and I find out like everyone else.
I love that. I really do. Because I'm kind of at the same mindset. Like, as much as I love him and I respect him and I appreciate him, I don't want him to tell me anything because, I mean, we all want to be surprised as much as everybody else. We all want to not see that coming. And yeah, I wouldn't want it spoiled either. Like, obviously I would take a hint here and there, but I wouldn't want to know either. And that means a lot coming from one of his really good friends, that they wouldn't want to know if he was coming back. So
And I mean, I think that honestly, Joe, I see Joe in the chat, Conrad in the chat. Anyone I've missed that joined after we said hello and everything in the beginning, I say hello to you now. I see Joe's in there. I thought it was interesting that he said 100% will control your narrative. What do you guys think? We'll talk about that. We'll
mhm.
talk about that. Let's see here. Hey, Jody, thank you, by the way, Hanzo,
Thank you.
for the donation. Can't wait to meet Wyndham Bray in April at Liverpool. So excited. Jody, does he prefer being called Wyndham or Bray? I can't wait.
Personally, I don't really know. From information from other people, that he doesn't really mind either way. I can't speak for him personally because I haven't heard that from his mouth. But from what I've heard from other sources, that is that he understands that Bray is such a big part of who he was and who he still is. That he doesn't really mind either way. Obviously Wyndham is his real name, that his family and closest friends have been using that all the time. I think Kyle said that once too, that he's always going to be Bray to him, but then somebody like Jesse that we had on the show called him Wyndham because they've been friends for a lot longer. So I don't really think he probably minds either way.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
He'll always be Bray to me, and it's going to be really hard to not call him that when I see him in a couple of weeks. But I'm sure he probably gets that all the time.
Yeah. We talked about this a little bit last week before we get more into that WWE quote. But Seven Fiend says, I'm 100% with control your narrative. What you guys think? I think we both said, Jody, that if he ended up there, that would just be a great meeting of the minds between all that are involved.
Yeah.
And you obviously would like to see if he ended up anywhere, would you like to see him end up there just because of the potential of the storytelling?
Yeah, I definitely think he's got a lot of potential there with storytelling. But I think the bottom line for us as Bray fans, I mean, we want to see him where he can be creatively free. And that's becoming a very small area that he can go with when he's got that creative freedom. So that's where I want him to go, wherever he is going to be able to do what he wants to do, the way he wants to do it, how he wants to tell that story. I'm all for it. I don't care if it's here or in Timbuktu. I'm still gonna support it.
Still gonna support the man. Absolutely. So I mean, do you think, hearing Jason's quote there, I know a lot of people always speculate, like, would he end up back there? Is it a possibility? That kind of thing. I mean, does this add any fuel to the fire? Or is it still about the same in terms of speculation and people just wanting him to possibly go back there?
I think a lot of people do want him back there just because, it's like comparing apples to oranges. WWE, and they have been and probably will be for a long time, they're the big company. It's like a big pharmaceutical company. Like, it doesn't matter that there are other companies out there that might do it better. I think people just naturally want him to go back. And yeah, like James said, I'm never going to say never, but I find it unlikely.
Especially right now with everything.
Yeah.
Regardless of how, I know a lot of us have been counting the days. Have been counting the days since he's been gone.
we just want to see him in
Yeah.
some capacity, in not any capacity, because obviously something that, we want to see him do something that he wants to do, but yeah, we just want to see him in some capacity at this point because we miss him.
Yeah. We just want to see the man wherever that is. If it's back there, you know what? Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Hopefully
If
he gets
it's back there, that's what he felt like was the right decision to make, and like I said, we'll support him no matter where he goes.
Yeah.
If he doesn't wrestle for another 10 years and just decides to go make movies, great. We'll watch them all.
We'll watch him, and
Mhm.
guess what? We'll do movie reviews.
We'll probably do watch-alongs when it goes on Netflix or wherever.
Yeah. Big Dan saying Windham in another company to some Jeff is like seeing Michael Jordan in a Wizards jersey. Yeah. Yeah. Jason P saying in USA and Fox want him back. I'm pretty sure they never wanted him to go in the
Yeah.
first.
But
So I'm
no,
pretty
they'd
sure-
rather us see, Pat McAfee versus Vince McMahon, which I have nothing against Pat McAfee. I adore that man, but that's what they think we want to see.
Vince ain't getting in that ring. It'll be Austin.
Oh, no. That's what I said. I'm like, there is no way in hell he's getting in that ring. If he does, there is no way in hell he's taking a bump.
No, goodness. No, yeah, Vince ain't getting in a ring anytime soon. He might get in there to say a few words, but he's not getting in there. That's about it. James Grant saying, I do think he may go back due to a couple reasons. Never say never. Also, Vince may finally admit he was wrong in letting him go. Also, there are many stories that isn't finished.
Well, you can say that for a lot of superstars that have been released, that they had a lot of stories that were unfinished.
I don't know what that was outside of my door, but it's kind of scary.
What?
It was like a big boom.
Oh.
Outside of my door. It's fine. If anything happens during the stream, just know I love you all. Dana saying I think WWE would have a bad story. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I saw that too.
No, yeah, there's no way you're gonna get Vince to admit that he was wrong.
Hanzo saying the whole budget cuts reason the straight BS. If they're smart, they'd have him. If Reigns wins, confront Reigns, the pop would be huge. I think if he comes back at all, the pop would be tremendous.
I think the budget cut thing is I won't say it's complete BS. I think there's a part of that that's true. It's just how they've spun it. Were they, getting pressure from the networks? Maybe. Were they losing money on people showing up to shows because of COVID? Maybe. So I don't think it's completely BS. I think there's some aspect of truth to that. I think they just spun it a different way.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to this part. So now there's no more Bray merch in the shop. Is that something that you saw coming, or you find it kind of strange that it's happening now?
I figured it was going to happen eventually. My take on it was they tried to get as much money off of him as possible. And they probably had all this stuff in the store that they needed to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So once they were gone, they were gone. It sucks because there was still so much that I wanted from that store, but yeah, I mean, I guess it was a little odd because you do have people that were, like Undertaker still has stuff in the store, and yeah. But I figured it was probably gonna happen that way.
Yeah. I mean, especially with with him.
He retired.
If he retired, that's one thing. Yeah, That I mean, I could kind of see it coming. I was thinking, especially with a lot of the sales that they were doing.
I think WWE needed to increase their income in any way possible. I think they were losing a lot of money on in-person events. And I think that's where a lot of this came from, is they were losing a lot of money from people actually coming to see shows. And that probably, the networks put a lot of pressure on them, so they were trying to increase their income as much as they could.
Seven Fiend saying, hope for him to realize every dream, but if I have one single question to Wyndham, tell me you are not done with wrestling. I think a lot of us would want to ask that.
I don't think he's done. Knee-jerk reaction, just knowing what I know about him and having talked to him a few times, I don't think he's done. I think he's waiting for the right time, the right place, the right moment, the right company, the right opportunity. He's biding his time.
Yeah.
And he has the freedom to do that.
That's right. I mean, he's a free agent in every sense of the word right now, so he can make some decisions and do some things for him for a change.
Yep.
Which is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Always a good thing. Jesse saying, I'm hearing today that he's not in 2K22. I saw that somewhere. Erase your mind saying comment inserted. I mean, I don't know if he's in 2K22. I do know that I'm getting that game at some point.
I mean, that's based on 2021's roster, right?
Yeah.
Well, for over half the year, he wasn't on the roster.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be like negative Nancy about it, but I'm not super surprised.
You get it, is what you're saying. You understand that he's not.
I mean, he was on TV twice in 2021 and then released in July. So I can't really say that I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm not really that surprised either, given how much time he was on screen and all of that. James saying that he's not. Erase your mind saying Bray and Adam Cole are not in 2K22, but Braun is though. Okay, so
Braun was later in the year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Braun was released a little bit later in the year. The Fiend will be a custom mod, says Sean will say. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm always going to think Wyndham's in good shape because he's always going to be handsome to me too.
Well, I mean, I didn't get a chance to get the pictures in before the show. I apologize to everyone, but you sent over some pictures. He's looking good. He's been out and about lately.
He's been out in public, which is another thing that kind of told me that maybe they were done with the filming part of the movie, is that Bray's now's been spotted out and about. He was at some comedy club, I think, and he was out doing something else. There's one picture, like, I love his choice of clothing. It's so like, I don't even know what the word is. It's so specific to him. Like, only Bray would do something like that. Like, in one picture, he's wearing this like bright flowered, almost very cult leader Bray-ish kind of Hawaiian shirt. And it was so amazing that you're just sitting there going, of course he would wear something like that. He's just awesome. And that's who he is. But
and he's got the chest out, with the tattoo showing, got the, down to the third button, I think there is what I'm seeing here, and looking good.
No complaints there whatsoever.
James saying I checked earlier, um, and said Braun was released in June. He was in July. Wow. Okay.
Hmm. I don't
Uh,
know.
Hanzo saying he was out axe throwing with the missus and
Was.
some friends, something like that. Yeah. So it's good.
I
You know,
think
it's good to see
that
him out.
Hawaiian shirt one was him at that comedy club. He had liked a tweet about that.
Yeah, because he's there with Jay Farrow, and I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know the other guy, but I do know Jay Farrow.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, he looked great. Not that he ever doesn't, but there you go,
I'm
Deanna.
not. I'm
Me
not
and
done.
her, me and her same wavelength. I told you having Caleb and Wyndham on one show was going to shift the gravitational pull of the earth. Like that's too much gorgeousness in one place.
I'm not saying
I have a type, okay?
you. Okay.
Obviously.
Hey, all good. Hello, Donna. How are you? Thank you for joining us this evening. You have a type. That's all good.
Look at who I married. I clearly have a type.
You have a type. That's
If
okay.
they've got facial hair, and yeah, I'm a sucker for the facial hair. I can't help it.
And you know the big guys, broad shoulders. You know, hey,
Yep.
there you go. There you go. You have a type, so it's all good. It's all good. So I do want to ask you a couple things here, and this is for the meet and greet, okay? And I want to ask everyone in the chat to participate. Let's say that everyone has an opportunity to meet Windham Rotunda. Let's say you get your opportunity to meet him. What's the first thing that you say to him? And I'm gonna ask Jodie what the first thing she's gonna say to him when she sees him in Albany, New York, in a couple weeks. Less
You're,
than 2 weeks away.
you're assuming that I'm going to be able to get words out of my mouth. While it might be a little bit easier this time since I've talked to him twice and I've met him before,
Right.
I can't say the same about meeting Caleb in June. There's no way I'm going to get any words out of my mouth there at all. So I don't know. I think a lot for me just depends on how he is. I can imagine him being very like bubbly and excited and happy, and if he's like, I mean, if he's more of that attitude, I might say something funny like it's about freaking time. It just depends what kind of mood he's in. I don't know. Obviously, I'm going to put him on the spot and say, when are you getting your butt on Abby's? Because you're TikTok, you're the one that's been missing.
What was the next proposed phase of the Fiend storyline and look? That's what Erase Your Mind would ask. That's a good question.
But see, you're assuming he's going to answer you non-cryptically. And I know that he's not going to do that. So I would be really, I would choose my questions wisely, because I know that if I ask him anything super in-depth, he's going to reply with something very cryptic. And I'm going to be standing there going, what the fuck does that mean? So I'm going to keep it simple. About freaking time, and when are you getting your butt on Abby's?
Jesse says, I would ask him, hi, Wyndham. I got to know. The world wants to know. What would you do for a Klondike bar?
It's a great icebreaker, though.
That is a good one. Deanna saying, outside of OMG, I love you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being so special.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that to his face too. I've said it enough in text that I'm gonna have to actually say it to his face.
Yeah. Did I say that one? Yeah, steal the line for Vince. Where the hell have you been? Big Dan, this one's touching, and I think a lot of people have this story, so this one's touching. Big Dan saying, I'd say thank you for helping me cope with the unexpected passing of my wife in 2020. And I tried not to, but I probably burst into tears. He has no idea how much his character work helped my sanity. Um, yeah,
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 that's kind of how I was the first time that I met him. That's, you know, I wanted to tell him how special he was, and how much he got me through 2019. Having a similar situation with Caleb at the moment with my life situation. So if I could manage to speak to him, that's something akin to what I would like to say to Caleb as well. I'm gonna have to say thank you to both of them. Not that thank you will ever be adequate enough, but
yeah. Joe said he'd say yowie wowie. Well, Joe, you're gonna have an opportunity.
yeah.
So
Joe definitely
yeah,
have that opportunity.
Dana saying Bray helped me when my mom passed away too. Yeah. That's the story for a lot of people, that he helped a lot of people in some dark times.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I was able to tell him that, my mom was in the middle of breast cancer treatment when he came back to television. And yeah, every time that, I was obviously, she was in North Carolina, I was up here, and every time I felt really dark about it and like a failure as a daughter because I couldn't be there, I was working, and he just showed up on TV, just being exactly who he was. And yeah.
wow. Erase your mind saying, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The owl lied. About 3 licks, damn it. And Hanzo said he's gonna ask the question that Erase Your Mind had, so that's pretty cool. Also saying, I'll ask him in April, was the portrayal of the Fiend what we saw on television your vision, or was it watered down? Was it darker? We know the answer to that. I'll let Jody.
I know the answer to that. But it would be nice to hear that from him too, because we obviously have heard it from other people. But
Yeah, Jody knows the answer to that. And we'll let your mind wander on that one.
I do know the exact answer to that.
And it's been said on previous episodes on this channel. So it's well, I'll shut up now. Because no one needs to hear that. Yes, Donna Khan saying 2K22 coming soon. Yes, it is. Let's see here. The biggest questions about oh boy. The question is, what is the original finish of okay, WrestleMania 37? Why did it change? Why was he taken off TV? How does he feel about Alexa? I think you might get an answer to about one of those.
I don't think you'd get an answer to any of those.
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
You might get a look.
Yeah,
that might be blood boil.
might get a,
I guarantee you would get a look. That's about it.
yeah. Next week for 2K22. Deanna saying, I don't have to wonder, look at the original artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the original artwork. Woo! Erase Your Mind saying, Bray got me back into watching wrestling. I loved his unusual, thought-provoking, and complex storytelling. It is just not as enjoyable for me to watch WWE shows as much anymore. I understand. A lot of people feel that way. Completely understand. Hanzo saying, or we might just video call you via Twitter if there is one on the day. Hello, Jody. Haha, that would be wild. That would be funny because he'd be like, you've got people out here that are fans of yours and that check out your stuff too, all the way in the UK.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
I'm very aware that, they're going to be rushing us through there and not going to have a whole lot of time to talk to him. But I would love to do that if I had the opportunity to. If we can get him to sit down with us for an hour, I don't have any problem people sending questions and whatever.
Yeah.
So, but if I was going to video call anybody during meeting him, it's going to be my husband and Logan, because Logan will fall all over himself. He asks about him every single day.
Every day. Wow. Wow. That's something though, when a character connects that well with someone.
Yeah.
Like especially to captivate, because most kids, I mean, I'll be honest with you. My kids, I had to hide my Fiend merch because my daughter was terrified. She was like, "Daddy, put that away." She told me to put my Fiend pop up. She was like, "Put it away." And then now I've got the little mask, and she loves wearing the mask now. So she's like, "Daddy, can I have the Fiend mask?" And I give it to her, and she, and she walks around and puts it on, and she's like, "I'm the Fiend, yowie wowie." So that's my little almost 4-year-old. So
yeah, Logan's 4, and we've got so much. Obviously, you can tell we've got so much Windham art all over the place. He'll go around, Bray, 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 Bray. Look, Mommy, that's you and Bray. Look, that's he goes around the house on a daily basis, and there's Bray, there's Bray, there's Bray.
There he is. So yeah, I mean,
when I first showed him the drumstick, I was like, "Guess who gave this to you?" And he goes, "Bray."
I mean, we did get Muscle Man. Maybe Rockstar was on the next wave. Who knows?
I don't know. He thought Bray gave me that drumstick, and I said, "No, Caleb gave it to me." And he goes, "Mommy, you got a drumstick from Caleb?"
Big Dan saying, Wyndham is this generation's Mick Foley. Underneath that hardcore character is a gigantic teddy bear, and people like that connect with fans.
And we've heard that from just about everybody that we've talked to that's friends with him, that he's just a big old teddy bear. And I love that. I love that about him.
Alicia P saying, I'll tell him thank you. And to Jodie, Jeff, Joe, and Tazzy, because it was all of you that saved my life. I had no family, no friends, absolutely nothing, and now I have both. So much love. Well, we love you too. We have such a loving. So.
We're a family.
We are a family. We are a family. James Chadwick saying, I'm gonna see if James beats me to that one. Nope, I got you. James said, if I was a kid now, I would have been scared of the Fiend too, like I was with Taker. Taker, oh my goodness. When he first came out, I loved it because he really did look like a dead man. Like everything that I had seen and envisioned and all that stuff, the way they did his makeup, how pale he was, I was like, this dude is, James said, damn you.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation too. But yeah, I think a lot of us have those stories about Windham just being there, just being present in his own way, unknowingly, to help us through something difficult. So, Alicia, I'm still scared of the boogeyman. Okay. It's the worms thing. I have a weak stomach when it comes to bugs, and yeah, putting worms in your mouth is not attractive at all.
Jesse saying, I was way too desensitized as a child. I have been afraid of Fiend as a kid. I loved anime, fighting, wrestling, and blood. I thought Taker was cool. I loved Taker when he came out. I thought it was awesome. James saying he was only 3 when Taker debuted. I got you. Hanzo saying, "I'd like to thank him for inspiring me, motivating me to achieve my dreams, introducing me to Jodie and Britt. But I'd like to recreate the Wyatt family lantern. Liverpool, we're here, and blow it out." That'd be cool. That'd be cool. James hid behind the sofa when he saw Taker. By the way, James Grant saying, "And this is a friendship that will never, never end." Big Dan, Jeff not only gets to meet Wyndham, but his creamsicle Bucks jerseys are coming back. So everything is coming up, dude. You know what? Big Dan, I gotta shout him out. Big Dan sent me that the Buccaneers are gonna be using their creamsicle uniforms again in 2023 for the throwback games. I'm so happy. Like I'm happy. That's when I became a fan. Is when they were wearing those hideous looking but cool looking uniforms. I mean, most people like, oh my gosh, it looked like somebody, had an accident on their uniforms. But no, listen, I love those uniforms. Um, what's up, Wally? Why are you mad at us? Wally says he's mad at us. Don't be mad, Wally.
Maybe because we got to go meet Wyndham. I'm guessing that was.
Well, Wally, I'm gonna find you, Wally. I'm gonna find you. If that's not, let me know. Let's see here. Seven Fiend saying thanks for the stream, guys. Can't be here every Monday. Because I understand. Well,
in all fairness to us, this is a year in the making. This was supposed to happen a year ago.
A year ago. Yeah.
And then they postponed it, and then they canceled it, and then now there's this. So
well, on that note, we're gonna take off. But listen, if you're here right now, do us all a favor. Go over to B Tazzy's channel and watch the Raw Hype show. It's gonna be awesome. He always brings the party. Go watch Tazzy if you don't mind. Give him a like on the video. Help him out. He's close to 1,000. I think he's close to 900 or so. So let's get him to 1,000. Let's get him up there. Yeah, so we'll be back. So for the insiders, we'll be back Thursday. This is gonna be a busy week for us on this channel. So Thursday we'll be back for Impact Wrestling for our watch along, and we'll go into some details on what the weekend is going to be for us. But just know that after the Impact on Thursday night, so 10:15 Eastern, for after the Impact, is going to be a sacrifice prediction show. The regular watch along starts at 7:45 p.m. Eastern time. So come join us Thursday night. We will be back then. Jodie, any final words before we get out of here?
Make sure you go to www.calebjohnsonofficial.com. Make sure you check him out. And if he's anywhere near your city, go see him live because you will not regret it.
There you go. And on that note, folks, we will see you next time for another episode of Abby's Window. Take care, everyone.